Ethan Hawke, Sam Neill, and William Dafoe star in Daybreakers, directed by the Spear brothers. This is their second movie they have directed and written together, and I have to admit, after seeing Daybreakers last night, they have a very interesting way of creating their movies. I especially enjoyed the cinematography and music in this one. Now, when I first saw the trailer for Daybreakers, I was saying, oh my god, another vampire movie? I think it's safe to say that the general movie-going audience is getting pretty sick of the whole vampire situation going on in Hollywood today. After True Blood came out, that was it. Hollywood was taken over by the vampires. Now, True Blood, I think, is a very overrated show. I'm not even going to get started on Twilight, but I really want to see Let the Right One In, because foreign movies are always better than American ones. They really can redeem the whole factor going on in American movies. But anyways, when I saw the trailer for this one, the acting alone was a reason for me to get out of my chair and go see the movie, because it featured Sam Neill and William Dafoe. I really respect both of those actors. I haven't really seen Ethan Hawke in anything else. You know, people say he's a pretty popular actor, and I went on his IMDb, and he is. I just haven't really seen him in any of his movies, or at least I can't think of him in a movie that I've seen. So I went out and saw it, and it kind of delivered, you know. I'll give you some reasons why I love the movie and why I hated the movie. Let's start with the acting. Now, like I said, I haven't really seen Ethan Hawke in anything else, and he was kind of one note in this movie. You know, he was pretty cliched. He really didn't stand out as an actor for me. You know, it spent a little time getting to know his character in the beginning, but towards the end I was like, okay, you know, he's kind of just there, kind of playing another cliched major character in a horror movie. I can't say this is just a horror movie. I think it's a mixture of sci-fi and horror. Both the genres collide in this movie. Neither one overshines the other. But anyways, let's talk about Sam Neill. People say the guy plays the same character in every movie he's in. If you don't know who Sam Neill is, he was the guy who wore the Indiana Jones hat in Jurassic Park. Now, I think he was the greatest actor in this movie. I think he did a really good job with this character. There's a situation between him and his daughter being that girl from Transformers 2. Remember the Terminator Transformer? She's in this movie, and she can kind of act, which I'm very surprised because she was in a Michael Bay movie. But anyways, I think Sam Neill's intensity at times was really good. He did a good job with what was there for him to work with. Anyways, let's talk about William Dafoe. He was kind of unnecessary in this movie. He was more of a comic relief, and I think William Dafoe deserves more than that. They could have got anyone to play this character, but for some reason they want to attract people by bringing in William Dafoe. He did a good job of what he had, but, you know, it kind of wasn't all that necessary. He's a great actor, and I think he deserved more than what he got. Now, there's a girl in this movie, and she kind of has a love relationship with Ethan Hawke, which, you know, doesn't really stand out in the movie, which is kind of a good thing. But, you know, they could have been a little bit more there to kind of give us more of a hint that they were kind of starting to like each other. She's played by Isabella Lucas, and the actress didn't really have much to say throughout the movie, so I'm not going to talk about her. Let's talk about the action. The beginning of the movie features a car chase scene during the day. We see army vampires chasing humans throughout the day, and they tint their windows, and it's really cool. But then they do it like 2 or 3 more times throughout the movie, and it kind of gets old, and I really just wasn't all that into it. The story is pretty good. People are really hating this movie because of the scope of the film. Now, they're saying that it had a pretty low budget, and it really did show. That's why I hate how people label months with movies like summer movie season. May through August is summer movie season. It's big budget time. Let's give all the money to these guys. They have the ideas. This movie had an idea, and if it had more money, I think it could have did a better job showing more of this world taken over by vampires. That's what people want to see. Now, my opinion, I think the scope of the movie was great. It really did show that this movie was paranoid. I was on the human side in this movie, and humans were paranoid in this movie, and the scope of this movie, a couple of streets, really did show the idea of paranoia, so I really didn't have a problem with the setting of this film. Now, I do think, though, there could have been more behind the story. We could have been introduced to more characters. You know, these days in horror movies especially, there's too many characters who are underdeveloped. In this movie, they're just too few, and I wanted to get more of the human situation by getting to know more of the humans. So that's my opinion on the story. Let's talk about the biggest flaw of this film, and that is the ending. I guess that goes along with the story, but whatever. The ending was terrible. It was very sloppy, a very trashy way to end this kind of well-written film, and it really just didn't do justice to the rest of the movie. It just ends on a down note, I guess. It just falls off, and it really did bother me because I thought it could have had a better ending than that. I could have thought of a better ending than that. It seems like the writers just quit the last few seconds of writing this movie. Now, overall, it is a pretty good movie. You know, I won't say go run out and see it. I definitely recommend you rent it when it comes out. If you want to see a good vampire movie or a semi-good vampire movie, rent rent Daybreakers because it's a lot better than what Hollywood's giving you these days for vampire movies. The vampires in this film don't take their shirts off, and there are no Team Jacobs or Team Edwards, so you don't have to worry about that. But, you know, it's a pretty good movie. I guess you could go out and see if you really want to this weekend. Anyways, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. There are just some things that really bothered me with the movie, and they really stuck out throughout the movie. That's why it's getting such a low rating, even though I did kind of like the movie. Like I said, I was really looking forward to it. It just didn't really live up to my expectations of what it could have been. It could have been very memorable. You know, it's not the most original thing. People are saying it's very original. We haven't seen this before in a horror movie. Kind of have in Blade and Underworld, and there's a few others out there. Go see if you really want to.